soul, a feeling we cannot hide. It's always pushing us forward, the limit up in the sky. There's rhythm in how we flow, a rhythm that can't be denied. It's in the feeling in how we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are, 'cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping. Together going strong, no matter what we keep this flowing. The people we will go all in, our hands up in the sky. Celebrate and come, let your rhythm flow, 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 flow. Come, let your rhythm flow. Come, let your rhythm flow.
DBS News.
Welcome back and welcome to the listeners of Acoustic Worship Radio. On top of the news, a representative from the Pan American Health Organization has arrived in Dominica to begin the groundwork for a new mental health policy and legislation. Somitri Pafara, technical consultant at the Pan American Health Organization, has been meeting various stakeholders in Dominica this week.
What happened was that the Ministry of Health requested PAHO for technical support to draft a new mental health policy as well as to draft new mental health legislation. And so PAHO has kind of asked me to come as a technical consultant to help with this process. And this week we are meeting with different groups of stakeholders since Monday. And we will do that for the whole week until Friday. And the idea of these meetings is to have small meetings with specific stakeholders to try and better understand what their expectations are from the mental health policy or from the mental health law, so that when we finally do a draft of these policies and laws, then all those needs are taken into account and those considerations are fulfilled. So we're meeting with a range of stakeholders. We met with professional groups, we met with organizations representing the elderly, for example. We met organizations representing people with disabilities, the minority groups. We're also working with other government agencies, so looking at meeting with other government agencies to see what they are doing about mental health. And we plan to also meet with, people with lived experience themselves, so people with mental health problems, also to meet with them and their caregivers to understand their own perspective of what they would like to see in a policy or in legislation. So once we've done all of that, we'll have a fair idea of what the needs are.
Technical consultant at the Pan American Health Organization, Somitri Pafara. Mr. Pafara says a mental health policy is an important aspect of development.
A mental health policy is important because it helps to guide and direct actions that the government needs to do. You know, a policy is a way of saying this is where we want to get to, this is how we are going to get there. In the absence of policy, what happens is you get piecemeal efforts happening here and there, whereas a policy then takes a more comprehensive, broad overview to ensure that all the actions that are needed happen in a coordinated manner. Without a policy, it's very difficult in the government space to direct funding, for example, because if you don't have a policy, how do you know what you're going to spend on? And so having a policy which is comprehensive is probably the first step towards improving mental health services in the country.
Pan American Health Organization representative Somitri Pafara. Dr. Nadia Wallace is consultant psychiatrist in Dominica.
We requested that we get assistance in training of medical personnel in the assessment, diagnosis, and treatment of mental illnesses. We recognizing that we have limited resources when it comes to treatment of persons with mental illnesses, much less than we have the need. And we felt by having this training, we would empower persons who are not specialized in mental health to be better equipped and better prepared to assess, diagnose, and treat persons. So that was one of the requests. The second one was in assisting in the mental health policy. We do not have a mental health policy in Dominica. We had a draft mental health policy that was from 2012. So I felt this would be the opportunity for us to really have one, because we know how important our mental health is. And also we know of the Mental Health Act, which is the act that governs what happens and how persons with mental illnesses are managed in Dominica. The last act was renewed, I think, in 1987. So it's a very long time ago. So that's how this started.
Dr. Nadia Wallace. In other news, Kia Roye has earned the title of valedictorian of the 2025 class of the Afro Waldron Seventh-day Adventist Academy. She copped awards for Bible, chemistry, physics, biology, technical drawing practicals, English, mathematics, geography, EDPM, French, and office administration. Roy called on the graduates to create a legacy that will live on.
We now stand on a foundation of knowledge and perseverance, a legacy, one we inherit and must carry forward. Building a true legacy. It is more than good grades. It's about lasting wisdom, curiosity, and deeper understanding. It is built through lifelong learning, growing beyond school, explore, fail, learn, and repeat. That's how legacy lives on, long after the caps and the gongs are packed away. It is meant to be shared, uplift, inspire, and pass it on. Knowledge gains power when it helps others grow. It comes from staying humble and open. It's about being ready to unlearn, relearn, and grow. A learner's curious mindset always beats a know-it-all. It means applying your knowledge, turning it into action, purpose, and impact. A legacy of learning equips us to create a future full of promise and purpose. The path ahead is bright, and ours to turn into something meaningful with the tools which we have gained. Let us step forward with purpose, not just for us, but for our families, our communities, and the world.
Valedictorian of the 2025 class of the Afro Waldron Seventh-day Adventist Academy, Kia Roye. 25 students formed the 2025 graduating class of the Seventh-day Adventist School. Ivana Maglo, who received the second highest average, was sashed salutatorian. She captured awards for technical drawing, principles of accounts, principle of business, most outstanding business student, information technology, excellent school spirit and leadership, and the Sportsmanship Award. The other outstanding students who graduated with honors are Shalina Valmont and Jai Henry. Meantime, 12 students graduated with distinctions and 9 students with merits. Education Minister Octavia Alfred told the graduating class that they stand at an edge of a new chapter.
You are a glorious group, a chosen generation. Graduation is a moment of transformation, a moment to reflect on the journey taken, to look ahead at the vast and promising road that lies before you. You stand at the edge of a new chapter, but not with fear, but with hope. And the theme that brings us together today, a legacy of learning, a future of promise, is a reminder of what this institution has been to you. More than learning for assessment, but teaching to ensure that you become competent, God-fearing adults. Now, you must decide what you want to do with this learning as you move forward. It's up to you.
Education Minister Octavia Alfred. The 43rd graduation ceremony of the Afro Waldron SD Academy was held under the theme A Legacy of Learning and a Future of Promise. Gideon Bello was named valedictorian of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School. Emmanuel Joseph captured the salutatorian award, while 3 students took the Student of the Year award. They were Deshaun Lebron, Sarah Frederick, and Mitch Pierre. These 3 also captured awards for leadership. The Principal Award of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School went to John T. Vidal. Valedictorian Gideon Bello told the graduating class that they must embrace a determined mindset.
The theme for this year's graduation is Determined Minds, Boundless Futures. It is the idea that a determined mind will create a boundless future. Imagine for a moment the great inventor of our time, Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI and co-founder of ChatGPT. He faced challenges that seemed impossible, yet with determination and a clear vision, he pushed through barriers that many thought were impossible. He did not let failures define him. Instead, he used them as a stepping stone towards his ultimate goal. This is what we should embrace with a determined mind. This spirit of resilience is not just for the extraordinary few. It is a mindset we must embrace if we want to succeed. A determined mind is like a compass guiding us through uncertainty. It is not like a Dominican giving directions to Ma Brown's house. It empowers us to chase our dreams, to adapt, and to grow in the face of adversity.
Valedictorian Gideon Bello. Featured speaker Gina Darville has called on graduates to fight for a future for themselves.
I stand here not just for myself, but for all of us who dare to dream, to fight for a future brighter than our past. Let your journey be a testament to your strength, and may you never forget that the power to shape your destiny lies within you. Let my story resonate within you. In the shadows of hardship, there exists an unshakable truth. Our potential is limitless, and our dreams are worth every ounce of fight we have. We can rise just as I did, transforming our struggles into powerful stepping stones towards a brighter future. Embrace your journey, for it is in the depths of our trials that we unearth the strength to soar higher than we ever thought possible.
Featured speaker at the graduating ceremony of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, Gina Darville. An independent investigation will be conducted to determine the cause of collapse of a concrete roof at the Dominica Grammar School. Acting Prime Minister Dennis Charles Pemberton says the collapse is being addressed with the highest level of urgency. The roof designated for the auditorium at the Dominica Grammar School collapsed on the morning of Monday, June 16th.
The government of Dominica views the collapse of the concrete roof at the Dominica Grammar School construction site on Monday, June 16, as a matter of grave concern and is addressing it with the highest level of urgency and seriousness. We are thankful that the incident caused no injuries. On Tuesday, June 17, the Cabinet decided on the following measures to ensure thorough and transparent response with the safety of students and staff as our top priority. An independent investigation will be conducted to determine the cause of the structural failure. An engineering firm will be engaged to carry out a comprehensive assessment and submit a detailed report to the government. All other structures currently under construction at the site will be thoroughly inspected to assess their structural integrity and ensure compliance with safety standards. Construction activities have been ordered suspended with immediate effect while the investigation is ongoing. A joint team from the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Public Works has been tasked with overseeing the process and ensuring that all necessary corrective actions are implemented. The well-being of the students, teachers and staff of the Dominica Grammar School is the government's paramount concern, and we will make no compromise in ensuring their safety and protection. The government of Dominica will provide further updates as the investigation progresses and additional information becomes available.
Acting Prime Minister Dennis Charles Pemberton. The full lineup for the 2025 World Creole Music Festival will be revealed on Saturday, June 21st. The 2025 World Creole Music Festival is scheduled for October 24th, 25th, and 26th.
This Saturday, June 21st, the Ministry of Tourism and Discover Dominica Authority will reveal the artists performing at the 25th edition of the World Creole Music Festival. The Artist Reveal event begins at 5 p.m. and will be broadcast live via DBS Radio and the Facebook pages of Dominica Festivals, the Ministry of Tourism, as well as other media houses. This year's theme is Global Echoes of the Nature Island, celebrating 25 years of Creole music, magic, and memories.
Communications and Public Relations Specialist at Discover Dominica Authority, Monel Alexis. That's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
It's the energy of we people, something pulsing inside. It beating every soul, a feeling we cannot hide. It's always pushing us forward, the limit up in the sky. There's rhythm in how we flow, a rhythm that can't be denied. It's in the feeling in how we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are, 'cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping.
DBS News.
In news from the region, when Jamaica assumes the chairmanship of CARICOM, human development, capacity building, and partnerships will be central to all dialogues and actions. The incoming chairman of CARICOM is Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who takes over from Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley. Holness will host the upcoming 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM, scheduled to take place in Jamaica from July 6 to 8 under the theme People, Partnerships, Prosperity, Promoting a Secure and Sustainable Future. The conference will bring together CARICOM member states, associate member states, representatives from regional bodies, and specially invited guests. And internationally, Iran and Israel continue to attack each other on Wednesday night as Donald Trump weighs U.S. involvement. Earlier, Trump said, "I may do it, I may not do it," when asked whether the U.S. would join Israel's strikes on Iran. The U.S. president added, and I quote, "Nobody knows what I want to do, but I can say this, Iran's got a lot of trouble and wants to negotiate," end quote. Iran responded by saying they would not grovel at the gates of the White House. That's news, the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next with Gavin Richards.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
It's the energy of we people, something pulsing inside. It beating every soul, a feeling we cannot hide. It's always pushing us forward, the limit up in the sky. There's rhythm in how we flow, a rhythm that can't be denied. It's in the feeling in how we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are, 'cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping. Say
Well, good evening. I'm Gavin Richards with the DBS Evening Sports Report. Let's bull off with cricket news. Cricket commentator Joseph Reds Pereira says it is unfortunate that Kavem Hodge was dropped from the West Indies team, but feels that Alec Athanaze's lack of runs in recent matches was the reason for him being dropped. When he made the remarks while speaking on the Creole Heartbeat program this morning, he says the West Indies won't have it easy in their series with Australia.
I think that Hodge could be said to be unlucky because he showed his class in Australia, he showed his class in England, and definitely it should have been in the 16. His first class career going back looks very attractive. I think Athanaze, maybe lack of runs recently against South Africa A, lack of runs in the 25 season. Had he been putting the scores together, he probably would have been maybe in front of Anderson or in front of somebody else. But I think lack of runs. That's my honest answer. You've got to be realistic. They're playing one of the strongest teams in the world. The West Indies will do well if they are competitive, if they can really keep Australia into the fourth day and fifth day. We have a tremendous job against a very strong team. It's not going to be easy for players.
And that's the cricket commentator Joseph Reds Pereira. Meantime, Pereira has called for Cricket West Indies to return to its original methods of selecting players for the West Indies team. He says he is not a fan of the new model of selection, which essentially hands the authority to the head coach Darren Sammy. He's also against Sammy being coach of all three formats.
To the structure which operated since 1928, where we had selectors. Selectors were chosen by the board, but they were independent. They made their own decisions. The selectors watched the first class season and then recommended a team to the board and recommended the captain. That has gone totally into the past. I don't believe it's a good idea to saddle one man with three responsibilities of T20, ODI, and Test cricket. Is just too much. When you think of McCullum in England doing that, look at the resource that he has got available to him, the financial resource, the infrastructure resource, the coaching resource supported by the various counties. We just do not have that.
Cricket commentator Joseph Reds Pereira speaking on the Creole Heartbeat program this morning. Minister of State with Responsibility for Sports, Senator Oscar George, is calling for answers following the dropping of Kavem Hodge and Alec Athanaze from the West Indies Test team. While the two players will not feature in the upcoming series against Australia, both were dropped despite being among the leading run scorers for the West Indies in Test cricket for 2024. Well, Senator Oscar George told Kyrie FM last night that a proper explanation is needed.
I have listened to quite a bit on the various perspectives from many people on the surprise dropping of our young cricketers. And what really bothers me the most has to do with the issues of consistency and objectivity in selection. I have no issue with any player being dropped from a team, but it has to be warranted. And if you put the whole situation into context and perspective, Kavem was the highest test run scorer for the West Indies in 2024. Kavem scored a century against one of the toughest oppositions in world cricket in the backyard in England. Kavem also got runs against Australia, and for the most part, he showed signs of consistency throughout his short career. And as a result, he was also nominated for the CWI Test Cricketer of the Year award. Alec, on the other hand, although he did not perform as well as we know he can, everyone in the region knows that he is one of the most talented young players in the game today. So the decision to drop these two guys cannot be the right way to go. And I believe that we have to record our dissatisfaction for this, especially when we are trying to build a team for years to come. So all I ask is that there be more consistency in the selection process. And most importantly, those who are tasked with the responsibility for selection should do so objectively as much as practically possible.
And that's Minister of State with Responsibility for Sports, Senator Oscar George. Windward Islands players Keon Gaston, Akim Ogis, Johan Jeremiah and Shadrach Descartes will all feature for the St. Lucia Kings at the next edition of the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League. When the 2025 Republic Bank CPL gets underway on the 14th of August, the players were drafted this morning during the CPL player draft. The St. Lucia Kings, the defending champions, their full team is New Zealand's Tim David and Tim Seifert, Namibia's David Wieser, South Africa's Tabriz Samsi and Delano Port-Gettier, and the rest of the team is Alzari Joseph, Johnson Charles, Ruston Chase, Matthew Ford, Aaron Jones, Carrie Pierre, Javel Glenn, Micah McKenzie, Shadrach Descartes, Johan Jeremiah, Keon Gaston and Akim Ogis. Well, cricket commentator Darren Ganga says the Kings will find defending their championship challenging without the services of Faf du Plessis.
Well, first off, I must say no Faf du Plessis. So I'm in shock. I'm thinking now which player or players can fill that void of Faf du Plessis. One, as a batter. Two, as a captain and someone who made the right decisions more often than not in that 2024 championship season. So I look at this squad here and I say to myself, will Ruston Chase lead this team? Which player will be the captain? That's my first concern. The second is I like the fact that they've gone with Tim David and Tim Seifert, two players who can add stability with the bat, players with extensive T20 experience. There's a Delano Port-Gettier, a South African, just 28 years of age, pretty much an unknown. Yes, he's played in that SAT20 for MI Cape Town. Pretty untested and untried globally, but he is exciting. And I'm not surprised by Johnson Charles, who's been a tried, tested performer for the King. Look out for Matthew Ford, an up-and-coming star all-rounder, someone who's currently playing for the West Indies in white ball formats. He brings great value with the ball, that ability to swing the ball.
And that's the cricket commentator Darren Ganga. Well, Dominica's Alec Athenaeus will feature for the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. Jason Holder, who has played his entire CPL career with the Barbados Royals, will also play for the first time with St. Kitts.
The move comes at a very good time, in my opinion. It's something that I've thought about for a bit. And yeah, I think now is the perfect time to embark on something new, a new challenge, as I said before. And for me, I'm really excited for the opportunity. I think, what we've been able to put together so far at St. Kitts, I'm really happy with. And it's a matter for us just to now plan and execute. So, look, it's a new birth, it's a new opportunity, and one I'm really relishing and looking forward to.
And that's the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots player Jason Holder. The former West Indies batsman Darren Bravo is making a return to the Trinbago Knight Riders, as he was also drafted on Wednesday. The Knight Riders will also have Kieron Pollard, Sunil Narayan, Andre Russell and Nicholas Puran among their team. Shakib Al Hassan, the former Bangladesh captain, has been signed by the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons, while Brandon King, Rovman Powell, Quinton de Kock and Shufin Rothard are among the players for the Barbados Royals. West Indies T20 captain Shea Hope, Moeen Ali and Shama Joseph are among those to feature for the Guyana Amazon Warriors. The Republic Bank CPL gets underway in August, and of course we have a lot of time as we probably take a look at some of the franchises, go more in depth with the players selected. Let's move on to some track and field news now, as the Dominica Athletics Association will stage its annual National Juvenile Track and Field Meet this weekend. The two-day event is scheduled for Saturday and Sunday at the Geneva Playing Field in Grand Bay. Kicks off at 9:30 on both days. Well, the Athletics Association is anticipating an exciting showcase of Dominica's young athletic talent, and the meet, of course, will bring together the island's most promising athletes from under the age of 15. And of course, they'll be representing schools and clubs across the country. They'll compete in sprints, distant races, relays, and the various field disciplines. And we can end with a cricket item where the West Indies women's captain Hayley Matthews is backing her ladies to come good and says that the team just needs some time. Well, her comments following the West Indies 2-1 series defeat to South Africa in their ODI series this week. Matthews says that the team is a young one and will take some time to produce the results. Meantime, the West Indies all-rounder Deandra Doughton is now living in Canada and is undergoing rehabilitation work from there. But Doughton suffered a major injury in the Women's Indian Premier League earlier this year and has been out of action since. The West Indies head coach Shane Dade says that Doughton is injured and she is recovering. Her rehab is going according to plan, and it is possible that she could return in time for the 100 and then the Women's Caribbean Premier League. Where Deandra Doughton is one of the most successful players in West Indies history, with 287 matches to her name since making her debut in 2008, and she scored some 6,789 runs and has also picked up 150 wickets. Well, that's the DBS Evening Sports Report. Of course, you heard the sports with yours truly. Leila Langford presented the news. On behalf of the entire news and sports department, our linksman DJ Haloboy, Gavin Richards saying good evening.
It's the energy of we people, something pulsing inside. It beating every soul, a feeling we cannot hide. It's always pushing us forward, the limit up in the sky. There's rhythm in how we flow, a rhythm that can't be denied. It's in the feeling in how we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart, who we are. 'Cause the rhythm of life keeps bumping.
DBS Radio gives you top quality service over any other for live streaming of funerals. Call us today at 448-3282.
Good evening and welcome to the evening edition of the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. It is the 18th day of June 2025. We'll begin with this evening's edition of the DBS Radio death announcements on the DBS Radio Community Bulletin Board. We announce the death of Mrs. Yulie Virginia Warrington Bernard, age 88, of Calibishi, who resided at Dubla. She was a member of the Legion of Mary Group, Diamonds Are Forever Group, and the Married Couples Group. She died on Wednesday, the 4th of June, at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. She will be remembered by her stepchildren, Eugene, Ivan and his wife Nesta, and Paul and his wife Rose. Step-grandchildren, Thomason, Curtis, Maricia, Sabrina, Hermina, Jemina, Rosemary, Bernard, Joanne, Joyce, Vanti, Lloyd, and Myrtle. Her sisters, Gwendolyn and Mina. Nieces, Allison, Rosemary, Jackie, Marilyn, Marie, Frances, Gwyneth, Candice, and Jemina. Nephews, Derek, Nathany, Eddie, Robert, Alan, Julian, Matthew, Anthony, and Frederick. Cousins to include Patsy and many other names too numerous to mention. Her caregiver, Annie. Close friends including Rose, Sabo, Gertrude, Claudette, Britain, and other names too numerous to mention. And the communities of Calibishi, Dubla, Biosh, and Corliho. The funeral mass for the late Mrs. Yulie Virginia Bernard Warrington Bernard of Calibishi, who resided at Dubla, will take place at 3 p.m. on Friday, the 20th of June, at the Miraculous Infant Jesus Chapel in Dubla.